Have you ever wondered what gives a word the power to start a fight, or to end a career, or, and this is the weird one, to actually make you physically stronger? Well, today we're diving into the incredible linguistics of forbidden words, the curses, slurs, and swears that are basically a mirror to our deepest anxieties. Let's get right into it.
I mean, it's a question we've all thought about, right? Why is one collection of sounds totally fine, but another collection of sounds can get you kicked out of a restaurant? There's nothing inherently magical about the letters F-U-C-K. So where does that shocking power actually come from?
Well, here's the secret. The power isn't in the word itself. It's not about the vowels or the consonants. Nope, the power of a swear word is something that we as society all kind of agree to give it. It's this powerful, unwritten social contract that we all sign.
So let's play detective for a little bit. We're going to follow the clues, from linguistics to the way our brains are wired, all the way through history, to figure out exactly where a word gets its firepower.
Okay, our very first clue is right there in the name. The word profanity comes from the Latin word profanus, which literally means outside the temple. So right from the get-go, these words were all about violating something that was considered sacred.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The power isn't in the literal dictionary definition of the word. That's the denotation. It's in all the emotional baggage we pack into it, the connotation. Think about it. A little kid can use a four-letter word to just mean stuff, and they'll still get in trouble, which proves the taboo is baked into the word itself, not what they meant by it.
All right, time to follow our first major clue. Let's break down the anatomy of what makes a word taboo to figure out where all this emotional power comes from.
So linguists have figured out that pretty much all swear words bubble up from one of four main sources. Words get forbidden status when they touch on a society's biggest no-go zones: religion, blasphemy, sex and the human body, bodily functions and waste, and, of course, words designed to attack and harm entire groups of people.
Now, this right here is a really important distinction. Most profanity causes, well, abstract harm. You stub your toe, you yell the F word. Yeah, you've broken a social rule, but you haven't actually hurt anybody. Slurs are totally different. They are weapons. The harm they cause is concrete, it's targeted, and it's meant to dehumanize. That's why they are in a completely different category.
Okay, for our next clue, we're moving away from social rules, and we're going straight into the human brain. Because it turns out your brain treats swear words completely differently from pretty much every other word you know.
Think about it like this. Your normal, everyday language, like what I'm using right now, is handled by the logical, advanced parts of your brain. But swearing? Oh, that's a gut reaction. It comes from the limbic system. That's the ancient, emotional core of your brain. And get this. This is why patients who've had brain damage and lost the ability to speak can often still let out a perfectly formed curse word. It's just wired differently.
And that gut reaction, it has a real physical effect. There's actually a scientific term for it: lolochasia. It's that feeling of relief, both emotionally and physically, that you get from just letting a swear word rip. It's like a linguistic pressure release valve.
And this isn't just a feeling, it is a proven physiological fact. A psychologist named Richard Stevens did this famous experiment where he had people stick their hands in ice-cold water for as long as they could possibly stand it.
The results were just incredible. I mean, look at the difference here. The people who were allowed to swear lasted way, way longer. And why is that? Because swearing actually triggers a fight-or-flight response. Your heart rate goes up, adrenaline starts pumping, and your body's own natural painkiller system kicks into gear. It's kind of like a verbal superpower.
So, if swearing is this raw, uncontrollable emotional reflex, could it actually be a sign of something good? Could it, crazy as it sounds, be a sign of honesty? Well, a whole lot of research says, yeah, absolutely. And this ties everything together. Because swearing comes from that primitive, emotional part of the brain, it acts as what's called an honest signal. It's this unfiltered peek into how someone is really feeling that's super hard to fake. In fact, some studies even show that people who swear more tend to be more honest in general.
All right, for the final clue in our investigation, we need to jump in a time machine. Because the words that we think are the worst words today haven't always been at the top of the list. What a culture finds offensive is a direct reflection of what it's most anxious about.
Historians call this the Great Profane Shift. Just think about it. Back in the Middle Ages, the absolute worst thing you could say was something blasphemous against God. But then, as society became more secular, our anxieties moved to the body, and that's when sexual words became the most shocking.
And today, the focus has shifted again, this time towards social harm and the power of slurs.
And this table here breaks down the why. In medieval times, saying something like God's bones was seen as committing sonic violence, like you were literally hurting God with sounds. Words we consider bad now were just normal words then. But as that religious fear started to fade, it created a taboo vacuum, and all that linguistic power had to go somewhere. It flowed to the next big anxiety, the human body, and later to social justice.
So the main takeaway here is that the job of profanity, to shock, to express raw emotion, it always stays the same. It's the words themselves that change to reflect what a culture is most afraid of.
So, after following all of our clues, from social contracts to brain science to history, we can finally crack this case. It all points to one single, powerful idea.
And here it is. This is the answer. Profanity is a mirror. The words that a society outlaws tell you everything you need to know about what that society secretly values the most, whether it's God or the privacy of the body or the dignity and safety of all people.
So, when you get right down to it, that shocking power isn't some kind of magic. A society's swear jar is really just a diagnostic tool. It's a perfect snapshot of its biggest fears and anxieties at any given moment. The power is very real, but we're the ones who put it there. Which leaves us with one last fascinating thought to chew on. If our forbidden words are a mirror to our anxieties, shifting from God to the body to social harm, what's next? As our culture keeps changing, what will be the swear words of the future?